Hello, meat makers,
Meat lovers,
meat passionates,
meat maniacs,
meat freaks.
yes, kings of meat again, and we've got a recipe again. It turns out that these recipes are really popular on YouTube, so we decided to do another one. We recently did very similar one in Polish, and we're gonna repeat that today, obviously, but for our English-speaking audience. So what are we doing today?
It's very basic, very simple, and most important for the beginners, very quick to make meat. It is session meat with low alcohol, but very easy to drink, and also with carbonation.
Yeah.
So it's something perfect for summer, hot days like we have now. So just watch,
Yeah.
and you're gonna find out everything.
Session meat, just like Matej explained briefly at the beginning, it's a lighter version of meat. So it's called hydromel or short meat. There's a few names, but I think session meat is the one which is most popular at the minute. I think it came from session beer, which means the lighter version of the beer, which you probably can drink a little bit more. So yes, session made with a less amount of honey, obviously purely just for the quicker fermentation. What else is very typical for session meat? It very often doesn't have to be, but very often is carbonated. Whether it's a carbonation from bottle conditioning or is a forced carbonation, it all depends. Obviously, forced carbonation in a home meat making environment is really difficult to achieve. We will be bottle conditioning later on, so we'll show you everything. So just obviously keep watching. We're gonna make a 10-liter batch today. We've got a 20-liter bucket purely because we've got one for the starters, and it's just easier to mix everything. And then we're gonna transfer it to the glass jar, glass carboy.
What we need for that particular recipe is about 8-9 liters of water.
And some honey.
Some honey.
Yeah, so
we got 2 jars like that.
yeah, it's one and a bit. I think we're gonna use 1.5, so we're gonna use the whole one and probably half of this one.
Each jar have 900 grams, so technically it's gonna be about 1 liter of honey.
Yes.
So 1 liter of honey and about 9-8 liters of water. Water need be
Spring water.
Spring water. Could be boiled water, but you have to cool down after when you boil. Don't use the mineral water; it's not very good for yeast. And we also need that's the base. You can do it that way, but you also need yeast.
Yes. With the water, you can also use tap. If your tap water is good, right? Don't be afraid. It's as good. Yeast we're gonna use today. Basically, we can use any yeast, right? Could be ale yeast, could be wine yeast.
Champagne, cider.
Doesn't matter, right? The one we're going to use today is very common and easy to obtain, which are Lalvin's K1 V1116. I think these are the champagne actually.
Yeah, they are champagne. They're quite strong. They can produce quite high alcohol, but we don't give enough sugar this time, so they should easy go for the whole fermentation. We expect something like around 5-6% of alcohol from that amount of honey. If you want a stronger, just need add a little bit more honey. If you want to lower with alcohol, which is we wouldn't recommend, you can of course add a little bit less of honey.
Right. I'm gonna obviously rehydrate this yeast now, so because it's gonna take about 20 minutes. You could probably even sprinkle them on top, but I prefer to rehydrate dry yeast.
They're less stress. So what you're doing? You just need a little bit of water, 100 milliliters.
Yeah, 50 to 100 mil.
Temperature of water should be something between 25 to 35 degrees.
It's lukewarm basically, so obviously not boiling because we don't want to kill yeast, and not really ice cold because we don't want to stress them too much. So there's just obviously a bit of water. Yeast goes in. That's it. I'm gonna give it a bit of a stir. And we're going to leave it for 20 minutes, so I'm just quickly check time. It's past, so obviously 10 to we should be good. It's not going to take longer than that actually to set the whole meat, so fine.
Like we said, honey and water, yeast, that's the base. But our recipe also got some herbs. We're gonna use hibiscus flower. If you do it at home, you can do it with anything. Could be some juice from fruits, could be mixing of tea, Earl Grey, or even green tea.
Hops. Anyway, these are now rehydrating. So shall we just like add water?
We're adding water,
honey, and we're gonna put this nice paddle into use. Remember about sanitation, okay? That's key thing in mead making. Obviously, the bucket, the vessel you use, it need to be sanitized. The paddle obviously has been sanitized.
Everything, and you don't stick finger to the liquid.
No, don't lick it or anything like that. So.
How you can sanitize? As a basic sanitize, you can use boiling water and keep your equipment a little bit in that hot boiling water, and that should sterilize everything. If you got more experience or you want to make easier way, especially when you use glass, boiling water to the glass is not a good idea. Then you can using the
sulfites or any other sanitizing agents which are like readily available in any like homebrew shops.
You can put on eBay sanitizer for beer or winemakers. I'm sure you're gonna get a few.
Right, let's go. So
let's
add water. I'll add some honey. So I'll pull this one, yeah. You know, I might even start mixing while I'm adding. That might be.
All mixed. We hope so. We're gonna check in a second. If you're on the beginning of your journey with the mead making, that's a very useful tool.
It's probably one of the most important actually, apart from obviously the vessel, the fermenting, the airlock and all that. The simple hydrometer, right? It's a must-have basically.
That can help you to tell how much alcohol you will have in your mead. But what is most important, it will tell you exactly on which stage is your fermentation. So we give a little bit sample now, like we take a little bit sample. Okay. We use multiflora honey, but you can use any honey.
So basically that sample, right, that's not going to make its way back to the fermenter. That's it, that's wasted now. We've got about
1.050. And that should give us about, will you check it?
Yeah, I can check it actually, but I reckon it's going to give us about 5.5, maybe 6%.
5.6.
Maybe a bit less.
It's not exactly really, but give you some clue.
Again, you can use any online ABV calculator where you just like put your starting gravity. The finishing gravity going to be obviously a 0, maybe even slightly less than 0.
So what's happened when we're gonna check the sugar?
It was 1.050, yeah?
1.050.
And I'll put it down as 1. I'll put it 0.0.
So what's gonna happen when yeast will finish fermentation? Actually, that will go deeper, nearly to the 1000 or like 1.00 or even lower. But you will find out on the later.
According to that calculator, it's going to give us about 6.5%, 6.8% of alcohol. But this is only an estimate, right? It's not like 100% accurate. It never is. So this is obviously just an estimate.
Like we said, the most important is to measure the sugar to find out on which stage your fermentation is when you finish. Okay, so we got that. Now we're gonna put that to our main fermenter, which has been sanitized before.
And what we're gonna add, obviously, when you mentioned about the hibiscus, so we're gonna add 25 grams of dried hibiscus flowers, and instead of like adding it like a mesh bag, because you can use mesh bag, we're gonna use that sort of like a sieve for hopping, for hops.
Yeah.
So
you can use muslin bags, or if you use ready-made tea, then you can add probably 12 tea bags, 15 tea bags. Each tea bags usually have 2 grams, so you can count that. And like I said, you can use any tea or fruits. But
25 grams, yes?
25 grams. But what's good with that recipe It's very quick, very simple, and no problem with sedimentation on the end.
Okay. So obviously that's going in. We don't worry about a drop, about the air. At that stage, air, we like air. It's useful. However, once the fermentation is done, then obviously we don't want to add any oxygen. We don't want to expose it. I'm going to put it straight in. There we go.
Okay.
Nearly, we got exactly 2 minutes to pitch the yeast. So, right, all been transferred to this glass. So I'm just going to put it up there so you can see a bit better. That's nearly full. Obviously, you need to leave a little bit of headspace. I don't anticipate it should really, you know, go very vigorously and you know, produce a big head. But you know, you always need to leave a little bit. Also, this is a wide mouth container, so it's not like, you know, with the you know, narrowing one where it's really built up quite quickly. This one should be fine. Obviously, you can see that hopping basket. I'm not sure what you call that with the hibiscus. I'm not sure there's already started giving a colour or not. Perhaps a little bit. We'll observe it. So I think, yeah, we're good. We're going to pitch the yeast now. Now
you can add some nutrition if you have it, but to be honest, with such a low sugar and final ABV, it's not necessary. Especially if you decide using the fruit juice, it's lots of nutrition in the juice, so you don't have to. But believe me, if you do it that way, if you just rehydrate the yeast before, all should be fine. You just need to stick the lid with the airlock. Don't forget, put some water to the airlock, which is I'm gonna do now.
So it should be called waterlock, not airlock.
No, it's airlock.
It's lock in the air. Yeah, there we go. Right.
So that's it for now, and you're gonna see us in a second.
Hello again, mead makers. Our hibiscus session is done. It's only one thing left to do now, which bottle it and add some sugars for re-fermentation in the bottle. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna use our 1 liter PET bottles, and I'll tell you why PET in a second. And per 1 liter bottle, we need to add around 10 grams of honey for re-fermentation. That will be absolutely sufficient. So we're gonna now add to these bottles 10 grams each, and then bottle it.
That's important thing. 10 grams each of honey. If you decide to use sugar or sugar pills, it's probably 7-8 grams. You can add 10 grams to each bottle. You can mix the amount of honey what you need in a bucket with the ready-made mead, and then add it. But easiest way, 10 grams to each bottle. And one thing what we forget to set, for us it was 2 weeks. 2 weeks time since we actually stopped record the last video. Still same video.
It's probably been slightly quicker, but we had a bit holidays. We didn't have a time to come back to it. So I reckon it was a week, maybe 10 days when the fermentation was done. But
anything between 10 till 25 days is gonna be fine. So now we're gonna measure 10 grams of honey to each bottle. So we need the scale, of course.
Let's check on.
All bottles was sanitized before. You can use glass bottles, beer bottles, not wine bottles, because the beer bottles can get more pressure. But plastic bottles are good from 2 reasons. They're easy to storage, and you're gonna feel it how well carbonated they are. Even if you use the glass bottles, good trick is for one sample use plastic, And that one sample always tell you how far away your second fermentation is going.
So 10 grams is pretty much that little.
So now
Yeah, we're just gonna.
we just do it cut and we're gonna fill all other bottles. 10 grams of honey in each bottles. We not see bottles, but they are here. You need, what's the name? I always forget in English.
Tube.
Tube.
Yeah, tube.
Tube, which is you put to your main container fermenter.
I'm gonna and you see the siphon it.
You can siphon it or just sip it.
Right, so I'll control the.
So all mead in the bottles.
Yeah,
That's what's left.
just a bit of a yeast.
Yeast.
Yeast, yeah. So there's a little trick I always do when I fill the PET bottle. Before I actually put a cap on, I like to squeeze it. So obviously when the re-fermentation starts in the bottle, then you'll see how first like expand and then obviously start, becoming the harder. So just another sort of like a indicator to control a bit easier.
So I believe 5-7 days and that bottle gonna be much harder than it's now. So that means the mead is carbonate.
It's
ready.
perfectly good to drink now,
Yeah.
as is still. But obviously we like it with a slight carbonation, hence that sugar for re-fermenting, for like bottle reconditioning.
Of course you can a little bit mix honey which is on the bottom, but if you not do it, they is gonna find a way to get sugar from honey. So
And then one more thing to add at the end, obviously after a week or so, when the bottle has been carbonated, you will notice a slight sediment at the bottom, because obviously that'll be still, the remaining yeast, which, obviously there's a lot of dead yeast there, but there's still quite a few alive yeast in the mead itself. So as they...
nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong with that, absolutely. I mean,
it's probably healthy as well.
it's just an aesthetic thing, really. If you don't like it, don't drink it. But
To be honest, in a home mead making for session, it's pretty much impossible or very difficult to get clear session mead. Just because we do it that second carbonation and they still working, still sediment on the bottom. So to make clear session, you need proper filters, or you have to false carbonate and pasteurize. So it's quite it's more complicated process, which is it's pretty much difficult to do it at home.
But anyway, that's done. Please make it at home or something similar. You can share with us your results, or just maybe like your ideas, what you would add. That's just a plain hibiscus mead. Could be absolutely anything. Could
Yeah,
be
like we said, that was only base recipe. You can follow that recipe, do it exactly like we done, but it's only idea. You can use any herbs, any spices, any fruits, anything. And see you in next videos.
Yeah, that's it from us.
Don't forget, give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and press the notification button bell so you know when the next video's coming. See you.
Bye.